All 911, what is the address of the emergency?
I'm actually on the freeway. There's somebody driving in the wrong direction.
Okay, which, are you northbound or southbound?
I'm heading north on the 15th.
Well, you did this. Your life's gonna change. You gotta turn your life around.
I've got 3 more opportunities. Just try to hit the side of it. 13.
Copy yielding on the copy headed to 419.
Cover your hands now! Cover your hands! Keep it where you are. Do not move!
419 confirming you and 449 have been impacted by copy on 10.
Sorry, let me. I actually prefer these if I can.
Have a great day.
You too. I would say Lee is a guy that loves to live in the moment, you know, and be connected to the moment that I'm in. And I love connecting to stories and being engaged with those stories. Because I feel like when you either have a moment, like when you're watching a show, like with a character that you're connected to, or even more so when you're with a friend and you share a moment, that's kind of what drives me to live, you know, and is just to connect with other people. All of my life I've been so different from other people around me, you know, with my dwarfism. Growing up, you know, I was always so different, and so I loved the idea that I could find things that are the same, you know, the same foods or the same troubles with like maybe dating or something. And, you know, even though there were so many individual things, I love the idea that I could connect with people with like hanging out, playing video games, or finding things that we can just be regular people with. Sometimes I feel the same as other people, and sometimes I feel different, because there's so many moments when you feel the same, you know, because you're talking, you're laughing together, and then I'll walk in like a store or something, and a kid will point and stare, and you know, I'm so used to ignoring it. You know, I'm 29 years old, so I've been doing it most of my life. But so I feel the same in my, you know, basic needs. Like I get hungry, I get sleepy, I need work, I need money, but there's such an individuality that comes with being little. I remember talking to my dad one time, and I ran in his room, and I remember saying like, "Dad, they look at me like I'm a monster. They don't look at me like everybody else. They look at me like I'm different." And from that moment on, like there were things where I kind of had to heal and embrace being little over, you know, wishing I could change it. And you know, there was a lot of things that came with dwarfism that doesn't, especially achondroplasia, my kind of dwarfism, where I had to have lots of surgeries. My friends weren't having surgeries. My friends weren't getting their legs straightened. My friends weren't getting, you know, shunt revisions or for stuff like that. So I had a very different life, and it was very isolated. Barrett Bergen is one of my best friends of all time. Barrett is a director. He's directed a lot of shorts. He went to BYU Film School. I met Barrett when I got home from my LDS mission in the Philippines. He was serving as a missionary in my ward, and he approached me and said, "Hey, have you ever thought about being an actor?" I was pretty flattered. You know, I was like, wow. You know, because I love movies. I love shows. I've watched them since I was a little kid. And that was a huge moment for me because, like I said, when I was a little kid, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I didn't know where I wanted to go. I was just kind of the guy in the river, floating down the river, and whatever was going on. And I was not somebody, but when I heard that, that really resonated with me in a big way. I mean, my biggest dream is to be an actor, you know, and to really make it. And I've done a lot of short films. I've done, you know, a lot of stuff here and there. But I feel like that mission has had to evolve. What's up? We are here at DVD Game Exchange getting ready to shoot a little ad for their Christmas holiday season. Yeah! Oh, let's do a little... Yeah! Yeah! Woohoo! Up until a few years ago, I was kind of going off of direct bookings for film. And what direct bookings are, if you don't know, it's when you're not auditioning or anything. They just call you and say, hey, I have a role for you. Which, as an actor, that's really, really cool for a lot of reasons, and a lot of actors would die for that. I got cast as a Sasquatch for a Purple Mattress commercial. I got cast as Toad in a Devon Supertramp video. You know, but all these roles are kind of caricatures. They're not like a person. So much air. This isn't what I thought. You never know. So Barrett jumped in a couple years ago, and he messaged me and he said, hey, why don't I help you out a bit with your acting career? And I said, okay. He started tagging me in roles that had nothing to do with being a little person. So the phenomenal part about that was, one of my favorite is I auditioned and submitted to play the role of a spy agency. And in the character description, it said tall and slim, you know, very, you know, not me in any capacity, but I just went for it. But he loved my audition, the director loved my audition, and I booked it. And they completely changed the character, you know, to fit me. And I started like domino affecting of where I was like, if I can do it with that role, what if I can do it with that role? And so I realized I had the gift of, yeah, I can play in this realm of caricatures if it's not too much of a gimmick, but then I can bring other characters to life that any other actor could audition for.
And then about 278 northbound, there was a silver Ford Focus that was going southbound in the northbound lane.
You know, like I said, I get all in to whatever I'm doing. And if it's not working out, sometimes I feel kind of like a failure, or I feel like I'm not working hard enough, or if I'm not networking enough, I'm not doing enough. And I feel like there was a point to supplement that where kind of drinking got reintroduced into my life. There was just one night that, you know, I didn't Uber, I didn't, you know, do anything like that. I just went straight there and I said, hey, I'm just gonna have a couple drinks and go home. And that was my plan. But the problem is like I said, I've always been social and I've always connected with people. There was a guy down the bar, and I said, hey, how are you? You know, and he's like, hey, you know, and we started chatting, and he said, hey, let me buy you a drink. And I said, okay. You know, but like my inhibitions were already kind of gone because I had a couple, and I should have said, no, I'm good, you know, but I'm like, okay. And he started buying me a lot. And then I kind of started zoning out.
It's 273 southbound. I almost hit it head on.
You know, blacking out, and then completely kind of blacked out. And then all of a sudden, like, there's little, like, flashes of driving. And then I got hit head on by a vehicle. I didn't know if I had hit somebody. I didn't know what was going on. And I kind of got out of the car, and we're on the freeway, and I'm looking around, and it was pretty wild. There's a bunch of officers, and I'm just kind of taking it. And the weird part is when you're inebriated, you're kind of like not you, and it is you, but it's not you how you normally are, per se.
Okay, let's put him in your cage.
I'll go get Flip.
Am I in trouble?
What's your name, son?
Am I in trouble?
Yes. Do you have a driver's license?
I want to go home.
Where do you live, son?
Lee.
No, go to
Where?
Gary.
Vineyard.
Vineyard. Have you had anything to drink, son?
A little bit.
So when I got to the jail, they didn't have like a jumpsuit for me that fit me. So I was in these really long pants and this really random shirt. It's one of those events that slowly seeps in, and there was a lot of emotion with it. I thought about what damage I could have done, because the person that hit me head on was a police officer, and he was doing it to stop me, and then there was another officer that came up behind me. I didn't know about this until I read the police report, that tried to turn into me to like knock me off and spin me out, but he missed, and he ran into the sidewall, and then the other officer hit me head on. It was a lot, because it was never something like I wanted to do, and in my right mind, I would never do that. Nobody would. And I have not had a sip of alcohol since my DUI incident on August 16, 2021. The whole trial experience was so stressful, because a lot of people were like, oh, that's kind of nice, it's kind of just gone on and on. I'm like, no, absolutely not. Like, it's like this giant thing that's like looming over my head, like, I'm coming for you. So it was so, just a lot, and so it's almost nice, like, even though my license is revoked for a year, it's almost like a relief, because now I can finally move forward. It's like, I've been waiting to get to the hill, and now I'm at the hill.
I think the biggest thing is just like enjoy the process, and find your wins. Find your wins.
The winner for Best Lead Actor is Lee Liston.
Hey, buddy. There's a joke that goes around. No small parts, only small actors. And there's another joke that goes around that there's no small films, there's only small crews. And this film was made with 3 people, with Jeremiah Holt, Geraldine Rogers, and me. And it was such an honor to portray this character, and it took so much work. We rehearsed, we had like 7 rehearsals, and we just went so deep. So, no matter what, whenever you win these awards, just whenever you look at it, just let it remind you of how far you've come and what it represents. Because it's not just a trophy that's going to gather dust. It's a milestone in your life to remember that where you've come and where you can go. It's kind of surreal, to be winning a lead actor against so many other great performances. I want to keep moving forward so I can make more films and just be in films that have nothing to do with dwarfism, but also have things like this open doors to opportunities to make things about people with dwarfism, with stuff we've never explored. So I can't wait to see what's next. Watch. I feel like a little kid. It's like, Dad, watch.